The following video is an example of account-based selling as it relates to oil and gas industry, and say specifically targeting people in the completion industry, because you might be have a completion rig, or you might be selling coil tubing services, so on and so forth, focusing on that particular market. So account-based selling, is not necessarily new. It's the idea of focusing on an accounts, a list of accounts, and kind of going deep and wide within those accounts. The first step to account-based selling involves market segmentation. So let's assume that I've got some equipment up in the Fort McMurray region or in the Lloydminster region. So using some of the well data, I can just build a square and I can say, okay, show me everybody that is been drilling wells in the last 60 days or whatever time frame we want. And then here is a list, and we can see our kind of 10,000 pound gorillas here: the Synovuses, the CNRL, the Devon, the Huskies, and a little bit on the Meg side, and then some of the other players. So what we've done is we've said, okay, here's the segmentation. Could be based on what my geographic is, my technology, what I have to offer in the marketplace. The secondary, and we took a quick look at that, is account segmentation. So because I'm using that oil and gas information, easy for me to find the list of accounts that I'm looking for and kind of the size of the account, so I know and understand which accounts that I'm targeting. The next one is buyer segmentation. And so the buyer segmentation is about understanding how buyers in your accounts make purchase decisions. This includes people, partners, processes. The output steps are tools like buyer personas. So we want to be able to really drill down in on the buyers. So what we're doing inside of the CRM is we are collecting a list of people that would be involved in the buying decision. And so some of the things that we really want to focus on are the titles. So do we understand what their titles are? And ideally the titles are coming from them directly, so it helps us figure out the organization chart. The other thing that we were interested in is a city or area that they might be located. Kind of gives us some insight on who and how we're targeting our different buyers. So here you can see things like completion foreman out in Cold Lake, completion foreman out in Thornsbury, so on and so forth. Engineers are sitting in Calgary, and then if I come down here, supervisors again out in the field, sitting potentially in field offices, so on, and then superintendents might be in Calgary. So helping us figure out the org that we're looking for. We're also taking our notes and trying to figure out what their responsibility is, what some of their experiences are. So we put the notes in so we can see this. So this particular completions engineer involved in AFE cost estimation, creation, cost performance indicators, modeling, workover programming, refracturing, so on and so forth. So giving us an idea of their roles and responsibilities. So what we're trying to do is build out the org chart on who's the final decision maker, who are the influencers in the accounts, and then what roles that they play inside of that organization, so we have a really good understanding of what's going on. And the last step is probably going to be the most difficult, is our user segmentation. This is defined by understanding the market problems that this particular individual is having, or this account is having. So when I go back and I take a look at some of these things, if I wanted to go out to foreman's, what completion rigs are they operating? What are some of the equipment that they have in there? What are some of the challenges they have today? Reaching out, seeing if they're willing to share that information with us. Looking at different ways to communicate with them. I might go in and with this particular individual and connect with them on LinkedIn, so I can start my dialogue, understanding what's going on there. I can email them, I can phone them, and really I want to go deeper on not just the role that they're playing in the organization, but ultimately what are some of the challenges that they're having in the field. And this becomes repeatable. So I then, because I was looking at my market and I could see CNRL, I can then look at Devon, come over into the Devon file, and then start to drill down on the people in Devon. Same idea. What role are they playing? Where are they located? What are some of the roles and responsibilities that they would have? And then ultimately, what are some of the things that, some of the challenges that they're having? And I can do the same thing when I come over into Canadian Natural Resources. So it all becomes repeatable, working this account really deep and wide and going through the account-based process to help you get your products and services in the marketplace. The majority of what I've showed you here, when we look at account-based selling, I've used technology to identify some of the key people, see some of the challenges they've had, start working out the org charts. So when I'm going out and I'm reaching out to these people, my objectives are really more on the issues that they're having, equipment they're using, areas that what are their objectives, how do they want to reduce costs, how do they want to improve services out there, and capturing that information so I can translate that into a sales.